I'm really far behind schedule. Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at the Truthear Pure, a successor to the very popular Truthear Hexa. Now, first of all, I'd like to thank Shenzhen Audio, first of all for sending this in for review, but also for their patience as I received this unit a while back, but I've been busy with a lot of stuff and I felt quite far behind on my review schedule. Alright, so the Truthear Pure shares a lot with the Hexa. It's very similarly priced at about $90. It comes with the same style carrying pouch, which is a little bit awkward in how it closes around the IEMs, but it allows you to carry it in your pocket, so that's a plus in my book. It comes with two full sets of silicone ear tips of slightly different styles, as well as two foam tips, so you can find the best fit and comfort for your ear. The Truthear Pure also upgrades the cable, which is one of the complaints about much of the Truthear line was that the cable that they used was very flexible and tangled easily. So the Pure now uses a cable which is more similar to what you got with Ola and Gate. Although with this one the cable is silver rather than black. I heard some people complain about the color of the cables compared to the IEM shells, but for me I don't really mind it that much. The shells of the IEMs themselves are very similar to Hexa, but the main difference with the design is the faceplate of Pure now has little ridges to give the faceplate a bit more texture. Now this design change is meant to be purely cosmetic, but even at that, this little design change has become one of my biggest issues with this IEM, and honestly one of the biggest deciding factors if I'm going to be using this IEM from day to day. It is funny though because it's such a non-issue and I think that it's going to be irrelevant to 99% of people, so maybe this is just something that affects me. When I use IEMs, I'll either be using them like normal, both earphones in listening to music, or depending on what I'm doing that day, I might have just one earphone in to listen to stuff in the background while I'm working, and I'll take the other IEM that I'm not using and hook it on the neck of my shirt, so I still have one ear open to hear things around me and also communicate with people. The problem is the little ridges on the faceplate of this IEM come down to a little bit of a sharp point. So when I have one IEM tucked in my shirt, the little edge pokes my skin and causes irritation. And that's really it. It's such a small thing that really shouldn't be an issue, but it's become kind of a big deciding factor for me on days when I know that I'll be listening to stuff with only one earphone in. After this review, I'll probably just end up filing down that edge a little bit, and then it should be fixed after that. In terms of how they sound, they do actually depart a bit from the Hexa, but more of like an evolution which could also sell alongside Hexa as a different flavor. By now it's kind of well known that the tuning of Pure was achieved with help from Listener from headphones.com. This wasn't a collaboration in the same sense as a lot of other reviewer collabs, as it wasn't any sort of paid collaboration. With that, Pure carries a lot of the same DNA as Hexa. Both are hybrid setups with one dynamic driver and 3 balance armatures per side, and both fall in line with what many are referring to as sort of the new meta tuning. The biggest difference is that Pure is much more of a down tilt or warmer overall presentation than Hexa. The presentation of Pure is a bit more full body and relaxed than Hexa, and I do think that Hexa still has a bit better sense of things like detail or even width, but Pure is probably a safer bet if you're going to blind buy, because I remember one of the main complaints about Hexa was that some people felt that it did have a bit too much treble for their tastes. The Truthear Pure is an IEM that seems to have just a very good mid-range presentation, and overall I can't really fault it anywhere in its tuning. The main issue might just be that it's a little bit boring if you compare it directly to another IEM that has a lot more energy. It is a warmer sounding IEM, but it doesn't come across bloated or muffled like a lot of other warmer IEMs. It just sounds kind of like things in the top end are toned down a bit to allow more of the lower mid-range to shine a bit. I heard some compare it to something like the HD650, and I wouldn't quite rank it as a direct analog to the HD650, as I still think that the HD650 is better, but I would say it's probably in the same sort of a category of something that's overall well-tuned, that suits a wide range of music genres without causing any real fatigue. This is an IEM that I also really like how they sound when you're listening at lower levels, and maybe even more at lower levels. I tend to usually listen at lower volume levels day to day, and some IEMs can sound quite different when listening at different volume levels, as the different volume levels that you listen to, your perception of bass, mids, and treble can change relative to each other. Some IEMs I only really like if I'm listening to them at louder or quieter respective to the IEM. The Truthear Pure to me sounds good at both lower and higher volume levels, and that combined with their tuning, which doesn't seem to have any standout problem areas, makes them just a very good set of everyday carry all-arounder IEMs for me. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to get back to a more regular review schedule.